Hey guys, Pastor Rodney here, talking to all the GBKids parents. Just wanted to give you this information. Hopefully it'll help you understand the flow of things when we start back during the 10:30 hour on August the 2nd. I'm going to give you a tour of the youth facility that we'll be using while we're remodeling the children's building. And we also want to talk about the check-in and check-out process, so you'll understand, and everything you understand could change as far as check-in and check-out. Just depends on how the flow goes. We've called several child care centers to see how they do it during COVID, and so we've kind of come up with this model based on what they're doing. So let's talk about the check-in and check-out process, and then we'll do a tour of the building. Once again, this is a little bit different than what it will be once we're through with COVID and there's a vaccination, and we're not having to worry about that. But right now we're going to have some policies to make sure everyone stays safe. While we're remodeling the children's building, we'll be over in the youth building, in the educational wing of the youth building. And the only way you can enter or exit that building during this time will be from the doors at the cafe, where the red arrow is. Here is a closer picture of what that's going to look like. Those glass doors are the cafe doors, and the check-in desk will be right in front of those doors. So here is a drawing with some arrows to help you see what you will do. There will be socially distanced circles placed on the sidewalk 6 feet apart, so you'll know where to stand, wait your turn to check in. When you get to the desk, you'll be asked 3 questions. The questions are: has your child or anyone in your family ran a fever of 99.5 or higher in the last 72 hours? Has anyone in your family in the last 72 hours had shortness of breath or congestion or cough? Has anyone in your family in the last 14 days been in contact with someone who tested positive for COVID-19? If the answer is no to all 3 of those, well, then we'll continue with the check-in. The temperature will be taken of the child, and then someone will escort the child into their class. If they answer yes to any of those 3, those people will be encouraged to go home and watch the service online, because we just have to make sure and protect all of our people. If you'll notice the red arrows on the right hand side, that's the way you leave after you do check in. If you have any questions, be sure to give me a call. During this time of remodel and COVID, and because we're going to attempt to socially distance as much as possible, you understand with younger kids that is much harder to do. We're going to do it as much as we can, but because of that, it's going to limit the number of children that we can accept in the building. So here are numbers. Birth through 2 years old, 5 children. 2 years old to 3 years old, 10 children. K4 and K5, 10 children. 1st through 5th grade, 20 children. And so that's kind of the way we're going to do it, and see how that works out. Here's what we're going to encourage you to do. On Thursday morning, registration will open up for you to register your kids for their class. There'll be 10 spots. So if you know you're coming on Sunday, go ahead and get on your church app and register your child or children in their classrooms, and they will have a spot reserved. But if you don't do that and you wait till 8 o'clock in the morning, at 8 o'clock the registration is shut down, and we will print out those who have registered. We'll print out those forms, and you can still come, and more than likely there'll be room for your child. If you come late, there might not be room, and your child may have to worship with you, but hopefully there'll be room. I believe when we start, there'll be plenty of room, and as we go on, there may be there may be more people coming, and it may be very important for you to register ahead of time. Why are we stopping registration at 8 o'clock? Well, because we have to print out the forms so that our registration team will have them to see who's signed in and who hasn't signed in. So that is what we're going to do. We're about to take a tour of the building. As you walk into the cafe, this area is where we will have our elementary kids. If you notice, the chairs are spaced apart. The ones that are together will be for brother and sister, or brother and brother, or sister and sister to sit together. They don't have to socially distance. The rest of the folks will be socially distanced. Here is another picture of another angle of what's going to look like. Here's the opposite angle. We can hold 20 kids or so in this room, socially distanced. Okay, as we're leaving the cafe, the main hall has 3 doors on the left-hand side and 3 doors on the right-hand side. The 3 doors on the left-hand side will be for the elementary. The 1 door at the end of the hall on the right-hand side will be for K4 and K5. The other 2 rooms, one is a storage room and one is the design lab, and we will not be using either one of those rooms. So let's walk a little closer. So here we are walking down the hall. The first room on the left will be an elementary classroom. And it will look something like this, where the chairs are distanced. The next room on the left, another elementary classroom. And the final room on the left will be an elementary classroom. Now we go to the right-hand side. The very last room on the main hall will be for K4 and K5. Here's what the room will look like. Here's another angle of the room. Okay, we're back in the cafe, and now we're going to leave the main hallway and go down the center hall. Here we are in the center hall. We are going to go down the center hall and turn to the left where the other 2 classrooms will be. At the end of the hall, we're turning left. There's a water fountain that will be disconnected and will not be in use during COVID-19. And here's the hallway. Basically, we got 2 rooms and a ladies' restroom. The room on the yellow wall will be the K4 and K5 class, and the room at the very end on the orange wall will be the nursery. Here is the K4 and the K5 class. Here's another picture of it. As you can see, we've staggered the chairs so they're not right in each other's face, and there is some separation. Now we're going to the nursery. Here is the entry of the nursery. Here's another shot of the nursery. And here's another shot of the nursery. All of the floors have been cleaned. We've had a specialist come in and clean the floors, and the walls have been painted in the nursery rooms, and they look nice for our kids. This is the same hallway that the nursery is on, but it's the opposite end. It's where the men's restroom is. And these doors will be shut to the worship center of the youth building. Oh, that way we won't cross-pollinate any kind of germs or anything. Only children and approved workers will be in this area, and we're asking parents of 1st through 5th graders to make sure their children wear masks. If they don't have a mask or a face covering, we will provide that for them. All of our workers will wear a face covering while we're in the building. Okay, guys, I hope this answers your questions. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask me, feel free to give me a call. I appreciate it. I'm so excited about the opportunity of ministering to the kids face-to-face again, or somewhat face-to-face, face-to-face from a distance. But we're really looking forward to that, and we're excited. So this will all be during the 10:30 worship service. God bless you, and we'll talk to you later.